The role of research in ensuring success, relevance, building knowledge, gathering evidence, and facilitating learning is indisputable. Research informs action. We're glad to have you join us on NAPTIP On The Move. I'm Angela Adwegi. Talking about research, NAPTIP cannot function without research. And that's why one of its departments is focused on research and program development. Don't go away. It's NAPTIP On The Move.
Research is vital in expanding knowledge base, problem solving, introducing new ideas, and indeed success. The Research and Programs Development Department of NAPTIP conducts research to enable the agency effectively and efficiently execute its policies and programs.
The Research and Program Development Department was one of the departments created at the inception of this agency in August 2003, and is charged with the statutory responsibility of researching into factors that promote and encourage internal and external trafficking. And after that, we are to initiate program and policies to addressing these menace. That is as captured under Section 12.5 of the TPRI Act, as amended in 2005 and as reenacted as TP Act in 2015. And also, as a department, it is our statutory responsibility to support the agency in the area of records, statistics, and planning. And of course, to do any other duties that are reasonably incidental to the attainment of the objectives and goals of the agency. We have two major divisions. We have a research division and program development division of the department.
The department conducts research into the root cause of trafficking in Nigeria. We always try to know in a particular area which type of trafficking is prevalent, which informs the kind of program or the intervention the agency will go to in such an area. We once had a research in Ejigbo. You know, Ejigbo is in Osun State. We conducted the research into the impact of constant migration of people of Ejigbo and its implication on child trafficking. Though Ejigbo is not a border town, but if you go to Ejigbo, hardly will you see a day that there will be no movement of luxurious bus from Nigeria to Côte d'Ivoire. So this now informed our research in 2012. We did the research, we presented the report to the then governor of Osun State, Ogbeni Rauf Aragbeshola, and that is what gave birth to our zonal command in Oshogbo, Osun State, right now. In the next few days, the agency will be moving towards the north central states.
The department also prepares and produces manuals, handbooks, and annual reports.
We manage the agency's library. It is our duty. And we also manage the agency's records and information. We also have some responsibilities that are entrusted on us, and these include preparation of the NAPTIP annual reports. As a matter of fact, the one for the last year is on the verge of being published anytime from now. National Plan of Action is the strategic roadmap and a guide that determines how the agency works in the next period of years. The first one was developed in 2008 and it expired in 2012. But to the glory of God and under the watch of the amiable and dynamic and hardworking Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, we have successfully produced a new National Action Plan, which is expected to commence in 2022 this year and to last for the next 4 years. And this National Action Plan will be the strategic roadmap by which the activities and operation of the agencies will be guided. And it's woven around the 5 thematic areas of the agency's mandate, which include policy, prevention, protection, prosecution, and of course, partnership. And then we also have what we call country report on trafficking in person. So that country report, the last one was developed in 2019. And as I speak with you today, we are at the advanced stage of developing the 2022 country report.
The Research and Program Development Department organizes management retreats and stakeholders meetings.
We also coordinate a National Stakeholders Consultative meeting. That one hosts quarterly, although for logistics and other reasons, we've not been having it on a quarterly basis. But what is important is that we hold it at least twice a year to ensure that we come together with other stakeholders, international partners, donors, and NGOs that are fighting this scourge with us to strategize, to cross-fertilize ideas, to exchange views, and to forge the way forward. So stakeholders meeting is also coming up, and any moment from now, we are going to have another stakeholders meeting. Hopefully, we believe that before the end of this year, we should have up to 3 stakeholders meetings.
Management retreat is just to look at like an evaluation process. Over the last year, what have we achieved? Over the last year, what is our challenges? So that we're able to project into the new year. As we speak, the agency is planning to hold another management retreat maybe in the next few weeks, right? We are going to look at the strength of the agency, we're going to look at the weakness, we're going to look at opportunity, and also look at the threats.
Inauguration of the State's Task Force is one of the responsibilities of the department.
There's also what we know as the State Task Force against human trafficking in Nigeria. You know, when you look at the crime of human trafficking, you will agree with me that it's so multifaceted, multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary, and multidimensional. So no single entity or individual can fight it alone. And that is why we have ensured that we involve the whole of government and whole of society approach in combating this menace. We partner with the international communities, we partner with donors, we partner with embassies, we partner with stakeholders within and outside, and we partner with public-spirited individuals that identify with this cause and are ready to be on the same page with the agency. Because if we don't take proactive measures to address this menace holistically and proactively, we may end up having generational extinction. And we don't want to have a society where we cannot bequeath a legacy for the coming generation. And this is why the task of combating this menace is very huge. And the responsibility is vested in NAPTIP, and as an agency, we cannot afford to fail. So what we have done in the case of a state task force is to go to those states to enlist the buy-in of the state government. So what do I mean by buy-in? When we go there, we inaugurate the task force members, and they cut across MDAs in those states. That's ministries, departments, and agencies, and also the NGOs that are working against human trafficking. Efforts are on to establish state task forces in Imo, Bayelsa, and Abia. And by the time we are done with that, we would have succeeded in inaugurating state task forces in 23 states.
Development of programs and projects for the agency is under the purview of the department.
Research and program development, they go hand in hand, because after your research, you're going to get an evidence-based programming. When you are programming, that is, you are planning for an intervention, there should be data to inform your decision of going into such a program. We have identified that, okay, these are the gaps in so area. What can we do as an agency? What can the federal government do? What can the state government do? So that one will now inform how we are going to plan on our intervention. Take, for instance, the National Plan of Action. Now, this gives a framework for any intervention that if there's going to be any development partner who wants to come and do any programming in Nigeria, this one will serve as a blueprint. These are the kind of intervention that we need. There are different types of researches. You can talk about desk review based on the data that you have received from our zonal commands, from state commands. Then another one is doing the actual field work. The one I made mention earlier on that IOM is sponsoring, that one is a field work. Now, if we do either of the research, field work, or the desk review, once you identify that there are gaps, if it is a sensitization that is needed, you sensitize the people of the area about the menace of what is happening in their community.
The Trafficking in Persons Control of Activities of Organization and Centers Regulations 2019 is aimed at ensuring legal migration.
The Trafficking in Person Clearance Application Portal, we call it TIPCAP Regulations 2019. The Regulation 2019 was signed into law on October 9, 2019 by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN. We noticed that to effectively curb the menace of human trafficking, we need to take some proactive measures. But you agree with me that these traffickers too, they are not resting on their hours. They keep evolving every day. They have moved from analog to digital. So that is why we keep on re-strategizing, and we came up with the idea of having this electronic portal. Because if you want to travel out of the country and you don't go through the airport or the approved seaport, any means of transportation outside this is irregular. And this is why we ensure that if you genuinely want to move out of the country for any purpose whatsoever, you have to pass through the airport. And in passing through the airport, you have to observe certain procedures and to meet certain conditions. So the whole essence of Regulations 2019 is to ensure that when you are going on an educational excursion, for instance, when you are going on labor recruitment, you have to register in this electronic application portal. And it's done in a way that there are requirements to be met. And this will be done in collaboration with our sister law enforcement agencies that are at this airport, like especially Nigeria Immigration Service. So the operationalization of the portal, development of application is another way of generating revenue for the government, and it's also another way of checkmating the activities of the traffickers, and to tell them that if you want to travel, you have to travel regularly and not irregularly. And if you want to travel, there must be a purpose or purposes for wanting to travel. So these are some of the issues that are addressed in this regulations 2019.
The Research and Program Development Department of the agency is working assiduously to fulfill the agency's mandate of combating trafficking and violence against persons. Have you been promised a job here in Nigeria or abroad? What about offers of free education or enrollment in a foreign football club? Please do your research. These are some of the antics of human traffickers. Human trafficking is modern-day slavery. It entails forced labor, sex trafficking and organ harvesting. Its consequences have devastating psychological effects such as depression, anxiety, memory loss, severe forms of mental trauma and death. NAPTIP is working tirelessly to ensure protection of victims and speedy prosecution of offenders. Are you a victim? Waste no time. Call NAPTIP now on 0703 0000203 or the toll-free short code 627. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
NAPTIP event segment will be on shortly. Keep watching. The Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, and her team recently attended the 14th Annual Review Meeting of the ECOWAS Regional Network of National Focal Institutions Against Trafficking in Persons in Niamey, Niger Republic. The meeting is geared towards strengthening national and regional capacities to prevent and prosecute trafficking in persons, as well as protect victims of trafficking under the guise of the Organized Crime West African Response to Trafficking, OCWAR-T, a project implemented on behalf of the ECOWAS through the GIZ in collaboration with the International Center for Migration Policy Development. In her presentation, the Director General of NAPTIP highlighted the activities of the agency in the last 1 year.
We were able to share our 2021 priorities in fulfillment of the ECOWAS Plan of Action, and for Nigeria, we were able to fulfill almost, I would say, all our priorities for 2021. In terms of prosecution, we had 20 convictions for the year 2021. We created additional state task forces in 7 states. We also expanded NAPTIP's operations with 4 state commands and 12 liaison offices. In terms of prevention, we had a lot of sensitization activities for last year. We had a very vibrant 16 days of activism last year as well, and we commenced the establishment of vanguards in secondary schools, so just basically a platform for young people to share information regarding trafficking in persons and sexual and gender-based violence. But one thing that was common, amongst all member states is the issue of enhanced collaboration, enhanced communication and cooperation among states, and also the issue of paucity of funds when it comes to implementing trafficking in persons activities. So yes, very informative, and at the end of these 3 days we are also going to commence another session on strengthening Nigeria-Niger bilateral relationship. That will be for the next 2 days.
Some of the directors of the agency also spoke on the role of Nigeria in the fight against trafficking in persons.
It's important to note that Nigeria is playing a leading role in the fight against human trafficking in Africa, not just in West Africa, because NAPTIP is the first focal agency that was established by any African country. And in fact, most of the countries of the world have also taken a cue from NAPTIP. And You could see it from the way they are speaking at the meeting here. And what we are taking away from here is that every country that is participating is interested in collaborating with Nigeria, collaborating with NAPTIP.
International cooperation is the best thing that can happen to an agency like NAPTIP, and we'll be able to exchange information, we'll be able to do joint operations together, we'll be able to do joint collaboration in terms of making arrests, because at the end of the day, we want these traffickers brought to book. It is so glaring. Children in Nigeria, most of them are in Agadez, in Niger, and we also have Nigerians in Nigeria. And so when we decide to come together like we have decided already, we'll be able to have better results in terms of helping victims who are being trafficked and of course bringing the perpetrators to book.
The three-day meeting, which was highly interactive, had delegates from 13 countries of the West African region. In a related development, the Director General of NAPTIP co-chaired the 4th Joint Task Working Group meeting on the project Strengthening Nigeria-Niger Cooperation on Countering Trafficking Human Beings, implemented within the framework of the Memorandum of Understanding between Nigeria and Niger Focal Institution Against Trafficking in Persons. The working group from Nigeria include officials of NAPTIP, Federal Ministries of Humanitarian Affairs, Justice and Foreign Affairs, Nigeria Immigration Service, and the Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTAL, as well as the working group from Niger Republic, led by the Director General of the Nigerian Focal Agency on Trafficking in Persons. The two-day deliberation strengthened the bilateral partnership between Nigeria and Niger. The project is funded by the Kingdom of the Netherlands and implemented by the International Center for Migration Policy Development. The Yobe State Zonal Commander Saleh Zaka paid a courtesy visit to the Sector Commander, Sector 2 Joint Task Force, Northeast Operation Hatinkai, OPHK, Damaturu, Yobe State, Brigadier General A.G. Nura. The purpose of the visit was to discuss ways to further the already existing partnership and collaboration on intelligence sharing and referral of human trafficking and sexual and gender-based violence cases to NAPTIP. The Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, received the National President of Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTAL, Mr. Abdul Ganiyu Abubakar. Mr. Abubakar said his visit to NAPTIP is to discuss areas of closer collaboration with the agency. He then commended the Director General for her efforts so far in the fight against human trafficking and violence against persons, as well as pledged that NACTAL will continue to lend its support to ensure that the agency fulfills its mandate. In her response, Dr. Waziri Azi thanked him for the visit and assured the agency's sustained partnership with the Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTAL. NACTAL has been in partnership with NAPTIP since inception. Our victim story segment is next. Stay with NAPTIP on the Move.
I'm 19 years old. I'm from Imo State. What brought me to NAPTIP is a rape case. I live with my mother. Since when I was small, I have to leave my mother. I traveled to Onitsha to stay with my first auntie. After 8 years later, I came back. And then my mother said that because I came from a poor family, my mother and my father are not living together, so they are separated. My mother is taking care of 6 children, plus me, so I have to leave my mother to stay with my auntie in Abuja here. There, my uncle raped me often, and he always forced himself on me. He said that if I want to go to school, I will make sure that I'm sleeping with him, and if I talk, he will make sure that they send me out of the house and I will not go to school again. So one day I told my auntie, the thing have to cause quarrel between my auntie and my uncle. I was my uncle started beating me. He always beat me over anything. If I do something wrong, he always beat me. So I endure, and I can't take it any longer. I have to report to my principal and my pastor as well. They helped me out of my aunties, so they have to report the case to NAPTIP. I've been in NAPTIP chapter for 10 months now, and I thank them for taking care of me.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627, or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria, or watch our videos on YouTube.
Our time is far spent. Till I come your way again, don't forget to report all cases of human trafficking and violence against persons. I'm Angela Agwegi. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.